This is Modern Service Mastery, Business School with Boots on. Real lessons, real talk, and real growth for the residential service industry. Let's get to work.
When we think about growing a business, the first thing that often comes to mind is hiring more people. But, one of the most effective ways to scale isn't about finding talent outside. It's about growing the talent you already have within. Promoting from within, it's a game changer for not just the individual being promoted, but the culture and longevity of your entire team.
Yeah, and it's also like a huge morale boost, right? If the crew sees someone like them moving up, it's like, hey, that could be me. They're paying attention when you treat people well and give them opportunities to grow.
Exactly. And beyond morale, it's about retention. Studies, and you know how I love my studies, show that employees are far more likely to stick around when they see a clear path for advancement.
For real. I mean, look, I started as a laborer. I was the guy digging trenches and hauling gear in the sun all day. But then my crew leader pulled me aside and said, Jake, you've got leadership skills. Let's work on developing them. Man, that changed everything for me. I started showing more initiative, learning more, picking up stuff on the fly. And now, here I am leading my own crew. Like, it wasn't just because I'm great at the job. It was because someone noticed me and believed I could handle more.
That's a perfect example. And it highlights another thing. You aren't just filling a role when you promote someone internally. You're reinforcing your company's culture. That person already knows the values, the expectations, and the standards your business is built on.
Yeah, like when you bring someone new in, it takes weeks, sometimes months, for them to really get the flow of things. But when you promote internally, it's like they're ready to roll. Plus, they've already earned the team's respect. Nobody's sitting there wondering, why'd we hire this guy to lead us?
Right? And it's not just about promoting for the sake of promoting. You've got to find the right fit. Look for the technician who's always on time, the one who jumps in to help others without being asked, or the crew leader who takes the younger guys under their wing, teaching them the ropes. Those are the leaders in the making.
Yeah, it's not just about technical skills either. Like, sure, being good at the job matters, but leadership is all about people. Can they handle the tough conversations? Can they motivate their team when everyone's dragging on a slow Tuesday afternoon? Stuff like that is what makes or breaks a leader.
And for project managers or account managers, it's even more critical. Promoting someone who already understands the clients, the challenges, and the processes makes transitions seamless. It all flows better.
Totally. And honestly, the biggest thing that stuck with me through my journey, it wasn't just, Jake, you got promoted. It was the little things my crew leader did, checking in, giving me feedback, and yeah, sometimes telling me what I needed to hear, not what I wanted to hear. That's what grew me into someone who could lead.
And that's the perfect point to focus on, developing your people consistently. Weekly check-ins, feedback, aligning goals, it all ties back to showing them you're invested in their growth.
Which comes full circle, right? Grow the team, grow the dream.
Absolutely. And for listeners out there, it's not just about creating leaders. It's about creating leaders who will build and support others, keeping the cycle going. And as we think about developing leaders who will support and grow their teams, there's one quality that's absolutely essential: integrity. If a leader isn't honest and doesn't have strong moral principles, then really, what's the foundation they're building their team on?
Yeah, and I think integrity is one of those things your team can sense, Like if you say one thing but do another, or if you're not up front when things go sideways, they'll pick up on it fast. And once you lose trust, man, it's hard to get it back.
Exactly. And integrity isn't just about doing the right thing when everyone's watching. It's about the small, consistent decisions when no one else is. I remember back in my HVAC crew leader days, there was a time we were short on supplies for a job. I could have easily glossed over it and left the next team to deal with the fallout, but instead, I stayed late, made a couple of calls, and got what the guys needed for the next morning. It wasn't flashy leadership, but it showed my team I was in the trenches with them, doing what it took to get things right.
Man, that's powerful. And it's not just about being the boss or making all the decisions. Integrity kind of bleeds into stuff like accountability, right? Like owning up when you mess up.
Absolutely. And that connects to another key trait: empathy. A great leader doesn't just hear what someone says. They actively listen and try to understand. When a technician comes to you frustrated about a process or a client, the leaders who stop and ask, hey, what's going on? Those are the ones who create stronger teams.
Totally. I had a crew leader once who didn't just bark orders at me. He could tell when I'd been pushing hard and would say, Jake, take 5. Or when I was trying to figure out something that wasn't clicking, he'd walk me through it without making me feel dumb. That made me want to work harder.
And that's the thing. When we lead with empathy, we not only boost morale, but we show that every member of the team is valued. Then there's accountability, which you just mentioned. A leader who owns their mistakes sets the tone for the whole team to do the same. It's not about being perfect. It's about being responsible, admitting missteps, and making things right.
Yeah, and I'd add vision to the mix. Like, a good leader shows you not just what's in front of you, but where you're going. I'll never forget the first time I had a crew leader lay out the big picture of a job. It went from, move this pile of dirt to, hey Jake, everything we're doing here is setting up for that hardscape we're going to finish next week. That gave my work purpose.
Right, and part of that big picture mindset is communication. Leaders who are clear about what's expected and why. Man, they create buy-in like nothing else. Nobody wants to feel like a robot just following orders. The best leaders build understanding and connection.
For sure. And one more thing I'd throw in. The ability to motivate. It's not yelling or like forcing people to get things done. It's figuring out what lights a fire under each person on your team and leaning into that.
Absolutely, Jake. Motivation feeds into everything. Vision, empathy, accountability, and it closes the loop on what it takes to build effective leaders. We're not just managing tasks, we're shaping people. Building effective leaders involves understanding not just the traits we've talked about, like integrity, empathy, and accountability, but also the practical side of making it happen. So let's shift gears and delve into the how, the actionable steps listeners can take right now to start developing leaders on their own teams.
Yeah, and it's not rocket science, right? Like step one, identify the people who've got potential. It's those crew members who are always stepping up and showing initiative, right?
Exactly. And you also want to look for reliability, people who show up and consistently do great work, and willingness to learn. Those qualities are the foundation of leadership. But here's the thing, don't just stop at identifying them. The next step is giving them opportunities to grow. Create chances for them to lead small tasks or projects.
For sure. And honestly, that's where mentorship comes in. Like I've said before, my crew leader back in the day didn't just tell me to lead, he walked me through it. It's like sharing your experiences so they're not fumbling in the dark.
Right? And part of that process is setting clear expectations. If someone's moving from being a technician to a crew leader, for example, lay out exactly what's going to change. Maybe it's you're responsible for quality control on every job, or you'll start training new hires. Clarity removes confusion, and it builds confidence too.
Yeah, and you got to keep checking in too. Like, don't just hand them the keys and disappear. Those one-on-one meetings we talk about throughout the book, that's where they pay off big time. Ask what's working, what isn't, and what they need from you.
And while you're having those conversations, feedback is key. Constructive feedback delivered in a way that's honest but supportive can accelerate their growth. That's where a book like Radical Candor by Kim Scott can be a game changer. She talks about balancing kindness with clarity when giving feedback.
Oh yeah, I remember that book. It's like, don't be a pushover, but don't be a jerk either. You got to care personally and challenge directly. Honestly, that's a tightrope every leader has to walk.
Absolutely. And speaking of books, Simon Sinek's Leaders Eat Last touches on creating environments where people feel safe and valued. That's the kind of leadership approach that not only grows trust, but grows the whole team.
Yeah, and look for ways to guide people toward leadership. Like, let's say you're looking to promote a tech to a crew leader. You might say something like, hey, I've noticed how the team looks up to you, and I think you do great leading them. Then you give them the rundown of expectations while offering to guide them through the transition.
Right. And if they ask how to develop certain skills, you bring actionable advice to the table. Focus on communication, accountability, and motivating your team. You don't just give them the role, you pave the path forward for them.
Oh, 100%. And let's not overcomplicate it. Sometimes all it takes is saying, hey, I believe in you, let's figure this out together. Those words can light a fire under someone like nothing else.
That's such a great point. And as leaders, we're not just developing people to be better for today. We're creating the leaders of tomorrow who'll keep the cycle going. It's about growth, personal growth, team growth, and company growth.
And hey, on that note, let's leave our listeners with one of the mantras we've talked about. Grow the team, grow the dream.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Jake. Well, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for joining us. And remember, leadership isn't about the position you have. It's about the impact you make. Be sure to check out this week's story and please share your experiences in the social feed. Let's learn to be great leaders together. See you in the next chapter.
Thanks for listening to Modern Service Mastery Business School with Boots On. If this episode helped you lead, grow, or think differently, share it with your crew and keep the momentum going.